To solve another Leetcode problem, 631, design Excel sum formula. The description is quite long and it's really difficult to understand. So let's read the descriptions carefully. Yeah, because I would like to go through the descriptions with you. Otherwise, you don't even understand what is the problem. Yeah, and the examples is also quite long. So I would like to go through all of them, and then we can try to find a solution together and solve the problem. We want to design a basic function of Excel and implement the functions of some formula. So let's check. So Excel gonna be the height and width. So this gonna be the init. So we're gonna init basically. Let me make a drawing better. Yeah. Basically, we're gonna prepare an Excel. This is gonna be the init. After init, everything inside is gonna be 0 from the beginning. So this is just the init. And it is for the row, it is just starting from 1, 2, 3, and it is similar like the Excel. And for the column, it's gonna be A, B, C, etc. Yeah, here also etc. Yeah. And first of all, let's check the void, the set. Set is a void function. We don't need to return anything. We just need to set a value. So for example, row and column. If we were to set the row and column, for example, row 1 and the column A, so it means A1. Yeah, so we're gonna call it row 1 and column A. Yeah, and the position, I think we're gonna call it A1. Yeah, so it's gonna be here. So if it is, so for example, it is row 1 and column A, so it means 1 minus 1, it's going to be the first position, because for index this is 0, right? And this is A, and order of this character minus 65, and this position, for example, we want to set a value for 4, so this is for set. And get is also the same. We just need to get the value. So for example, we want to get A1, so the value is going to be 4. So this is okay currently. But now let's just check the sum. It's going to be a little bit difficult. The sum is going to be, we are giving a row and column, and we have the numbers. So it's going to be a list. So inside of the list, it's going to be string, two different type of string. So it means the Excel representation. Let's just check the two type. So it may be, for example, it may be F7. It is the matrix 7 at F. So for example, 7 at F. We're going to use the example maybe 3 and B. So maybe it is here. We can set a value. It is okay. Or maybe it's going to be even more complicated. Let's just check that one. Yeah. Maybe there's going to be another one. As you can see it's going to be B3F7. Yeah. Maybe it is a range. So for example, A1 to B2, A1 to B2, it is an area. Yeah. So there are two different type of string. For one thing, it's going to be just a cell. Another thing is just it's going to be an area. It's going to be a lot of cells in a rectangle. If you understand currently from here, normally we can just check the example. After checking the example, we're going to find a solution. Alright, and we should be careful. I think there are some things we need to be careful about it. Let me just read it. Yeah, so here you should be careful about this one. So this sum formula should exist until this cell is overlapped by another value or another sum formula. Nums I could be the format, so this is the format. Yeah. So this means we don't need to update the value. So for example, in this area, so for example, A1 to B2, in this area, we're going to record the value maybe at B3. At this area, we're going to record the value. It is the sum of all the values. But we don't need to record the value at this position. We have to store a formula. Because maybe at this position, we're going to update the value to 5. And for the formula, this value is going to be updated automatically. If you update the value instead of a formula, Now, if you update a value in some areas, how should you update this value? Because there's no relationship. Yeah, we have to keep this kind of relationship. This means we can never store a value here. We have to store a formula. In this way, if we were to update the value, it is okay. Because we have the formula, so the value is going to be updated automatically. So this is what looks like exactly like the Excel function. So, in these areas, we take an area and we take a sum, and the sum we're going to put it inside. Now we're going to update a value, and this value sum going to be updated automatically. Yeah, this is exactly like that. And we want to design exactly like this kind of a function, this sum. Yeah. And there's another thing you should be careful. You should assume that there will not be any circular sum reference. So this means, for example, for this dot, I have a reference of this one. I record a value. And for this one, I cannot record a value in these areas. This is also in the real life situations. You cannot record a value at this position. It means there will be an infinite loop. It's gonna never happen for this kind of thing. So if you record it like that in Excel, it's gonna be an error because it's gonna never happen. You have to store it in another place. Yeah, this is why this problem is solvable, because we never have the infinite loop. Yeah. So if you understand currently like this, normally we can solve the problem. Let me try to use this example here. So for example, in this dot, we're going to record the value for A1 to B2. This is okay. If we were to update a value, this is going to be updated automatically. Or maybe in A1, B2 inside these areas, we also want to record a value, and this value going to be another area. It is here. It is also okay. But how can we start? If we want to check the value from here, so it is okay, and we're going to check these areas. And inside this area, we're going to check the values one by one until we find a string thing, because this is just a string. And inside the string, it will represent this area. So we're going to search this area, and inside this area, maybe some areas there will be a string. It's going to record one value maybe here. Or maybe it is an array of strings. I mean, it is like A1 to B2. It is an area, so we're going to find the area. So in this way, it is a topological structure, but we're going to use the BFS to search the value one by one. So first of all, I'm going to start at this position A. Yeah, this is A. And then I'm going to go to these areas to find all the areas, and then find this position B. And B maybe have this position C. We're going to find these areas until we find the solution. Yeah. But how can we solve it like that? It seems the problem going to be really difficult. How can we represent everything? We're going to use another matrix. So first of all, we're going to use a matrix G as our graph. So inside this graph, this is our real Excel. And inside the real Excel, we're going to store all the values one by one. Yeah. So inside this Excel, we just store the values. I mean, it is not string, it is numbers, it is values. Maybe 0, 1, 2, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But what if we have a string, or maybe we have like A1 to B2, like areas of string, or maybe we have just a single string like A1. So if we have that kind of things, we're gonna store it in another place. So we're gonna prepare another state. So I will call this one sum state. Inside the sum state, I'm going to initialize it as 0 from the beginning. So if this cell is a number represented here, so for example, it is a number, it is okay. But if this is just a string, for example, A1, I start as A1. So if this is a string, it means, yeah, while I'm checking this one, I'm going to use this string to check the value of here. This is okay. Or maybe it is like A1, B2, yeah, it is an area. So if this is an area, so I'm going to use this area to check in the graph G. So this is matrix. So this is I'm going to think about this matrix. So like this is for example here, this is A1, B2, this area. So from here, this is A1, B2. I'm going to check these areas. So in this way, for one thing, I have a self.g. This is my real Excel. This will represent my real Excel. Another I have a sum state. Yeah. So this is my sum state. So this sum state will represent the numbers and string. If the number is 0, it's gonna represent a value in the same position. So if it is a string, I'm gonna use this string to find the area. Maybe it is just a single number, we're gonna find it, or maybe it is an area, we're gonna use find this area, and in this way we're gonna solve the problem. Yeah, I think that's all for it. But what is from the beginning? How can we design each of the methods? So for the initialization, it is okay. For the set, we're gonna directly set the value, and for the sum, we're gonna first of all, we're gonna just prepare. We're gonna just according to the question, we're gonna just set the row and column, because we have this row and column. We're gonna store it inside our state table. So this is gonna be the sum state table. We're gonna store this number inside of the state table, and then we're gonna directly call the get function to get the values, because for this sum we need to get a value in other places, or maybe it is in another place, or maybe here, and we're gonna get the value. Yeah, and the difficult part is gonna be this get function. So inside the get function, we're gonna use a BFS to check all the values. So for example, from here we're gonna check this areas, maybe inside we're gonna check another areas, but definitely we can find it because there's no infinite loop. Yeah. You don't need to understand the details about it yet, but you should understand the code. While you are trying to understand this code, and then you can go over to this kind of let me check the drawing, and go over to review on this kind of a drawing, and then maybe you're gonna understand it totally. Yeah. Now let's try to write it. I'm gonna prepare a graph G. So this G is gonna be a matrix. It is a let's just think about it as a matrix, but it is also a graph. It is a real Excel. So inside, I'm gonna set it to be 0 times the column. So the column gonna be the odd width. Yeah, because width gonna be just the character. So it's gonna be the what is that? Odd width minus 64. Yeah. So for example, this width is just A. So for odd A, capital A, it's going to be 65 minus 64, it's going to be 1. So here it's going to be 0. It means we have one column because we only have A. Yeah. And then we're going to check the row. So for R in range with the height. So this is going to be a row. So for example, if the height is 2, so basically we're going to prepare 2 rows. Yeah, so this is the graph, the real Excel. Now we're going to prepare a sum state. So the sum state will record the different state. It's going to record 0 as the value, or it's going to record a string as the area. So the self.state, I'm going to use a deep copy in Python because this is a 2D matrix. I'm going to just use a deep copy to copy it exactly like that. And this is my sum state. Now I want to set the values. Yeah. So we can set values inside the self.graph directly. Yeah, self.g, we're gonna set the values. So for the row and column, right? So for the row, it's gonna be row minus 1, and for the column, it's gonna be the odd column minus 65. So we're gonna set it as the value. So this means for this matrix G, so this is for the graph G, we're gonna set a value at any position. We're gonna just set a value. Yeah. Now we want to record this value at the same areas inside the state. So if it is just a value, we're gonna record it as 0. So self.state, sum state, we're gonna record it the same things, same position to be 0. Yeah, so this is just for set, it is okay. Now we are going to calculate the sum first. After that, we're gonna finish this get function because this is gonna be the hard part of the problem. So for the sum, I'm gonna definitely I'm gonna self dot sum state, because this is just a number. This number it means an array. I wanted to put it inside my state first, so it's gonna be a row minus 1 with order of column minus 65. Yeah, because at this position I want to store the value inside my self dot sum state, so this is gonna be my state matrix. So I'm gonna store these numbers, and then I'm gonna return self dot get, because actually for my get is my real sum. It is the same thing. Yeah, because I wanted to write the sum inside my get function. Because this get can be only one value, or it can be an arrays, or it can be very complicated. Yeah. So for the self.get, I want to have the row and column. So I wanted to put this row and column inside the self.get, and I want to use the self.get to get the final result, because this row and column, it is actually the same thing. So I want to put it here. Now let's go to the get function. So for the self.get, actually we need to understand something like this. So this is our graph, and for here this is our state. In some areas it is just store a 0, some areas it store a string. So this is going to be the difficult part. We need to check one by one. If it is a 0, what's going to happen? If it is a string, what's going to happen? Yeah. And this graph, inside this graph, it is just a record of all the values. It is okay. And for here, it's gonna have two different records. Actually, it is a 3. It can be a 0, or it can be just a 1, like that, or it can be another one. Yeah, because definitely inside this, it's gonna be an array. This string actually gonna be an array. Inside it can be A1 or A1 to B2. It can be a lot of different kind of strings. Basically, this string is gonna be an array. Yeah. Now for this get function, we want to check the. Yeah, let me think about it. Yeah, we want to check the state first. So let's just check the state. So if self.sum state. Yeah, because currently I'm not sure. Yeah, because sometimes I'm gonna call this get function, or sometimes I will don't go to here. I will get it directly. So I have to check the self.sum state with my row and column. Yeah, so it's gonna be row minus 1, and similarly for the column, it's gonna be the odd column minus 65. So if this is a 0, okay, this means it is a number. Yeah, if it is a number, it is a get function. It is easy. I just need to return the final result. Let me just copy it and put it here, and I want to change it to my self.g, because inside of the self.g actually I stored all the values. This is my real value. This is my real Excel, and this is just a state of Excel. Yeah, we have two copies of Excel. One is the real Excel, another is the sum state of Excel. It just recorded the different state, different sum state. So if this is 0, this is okay, because it is just a value, and we just need to return that value. But what happens if it is not? So this means it's gonna be definitely it's gonna be a string, right? Yeah. So if it is a string, this means we need to put the string inside the queue, and we're gonna use the BFS to solve the problem. So let's first get out the string. So what's gonna be the string? Yeah. So the string gonna be the self.sum state. Let me just copy these areas. Yeah. So this gonna be the string. Actually, Yeah, actually this gonna be a array. Yeah, this gonna be yeah, inside it's gonna be an array actually. Yeah, but just let's just do some preparations first. So I'm gonna prepare a result, and I would to prepare a queue. The queue gonna be the queue, and inside I would to put the row and column inside. So it's gonna be yeah, let me think about it. It's gonna be I will just use this row and column directly. I would to put it inside the queue. Yeah, so because I would to use this result to get the final value, because it is in an area, I would to collect all the values, and definitely we're gonna use the BFS to check all the areas and all the values. So I'm gonna prepare a result to accumulate all the values, and I would to put the first one inside the queue. Yeah, because for this one, for this row and column, definitely I would to use this row and column. It is a position. I would to use this position to I'm not sure. Yeah, yeah, let me check. So yeah, so we're gonna put something inside the queue, and I'm gonna check this queue. So this is I would to put a row and column inside of this queue. So while queue, I'm gonna pop out as R and C gonna be equal to q dot pop left, and then I'm gonna this R and C, it means it is just the position of this row and column. Yeah, and then I'm gonna use this position to find if it is an array or something. Yeah. So let me for I think for S I'm gonna use a string for S in self.SumState. Let me just copy it and put it here. Self.SumState with this row -1 and odd C minus 65. Yeah. So basically, because the sum state actually from here it's gonna be store an array. Yeah. So I'm gonna check each string inside of the array, because currently here it is a value. It is okay. We're gonna get the result. Otherwise, it's gonna be an array. So this is a queue is what we put inside. So this row and column, because we wanted to put it inside to check the values. Yeah. And we need to pop it out, and this is the position, and in this position we need to find this string. Yeah, so this is for the for each of the string. Now I want to check the length of the string. If the length of the string is less than or equal to 3, so this is the simple case. It's gonna be something like A1, B2. Yeah, let me just use this example. It may be something like A1 or 11 or A12, but at at most it's going to be 3. So if it is less than or equal to 3, it means it is the first type. It is the simple type. We're going to call it this one. Yeah. So if it is this type, what are we going to do? We're going to want to split it. I will not split it actually. I want to just get the value. So let's just use maybe R1 and C1. I want to get the value. So for the row, it's going to be int of S1. So for example, for this one, it's going to be this one. Yeah, so this is going to be the row. Yeah. And for the column, it's going to be the odd with S0 minus 65. So for example, for this one, it is A. So A, it is odd S0, it's going to be 65 minus 65, it's going to be 1. So for the column position, it's going to be 1. Now, what are we going to do? We want to get the value. Yeah, because at this position, definitely, we want to get the value, or maybe this in this position it is a formula, we don't know it. Yeah, so this means we need to put it inside the queue. So we're gonna append Q1 and C1 inside the queue. Yeah, this is for the length less than or equal to 3. But currently I didn't put anything to the result. Yeah, maybe something wrong, but let me just finish the main function here. Otherwise, if it is more than or equal to 3, let me copy the same one. Maybe I would to put it here. So S1 and S2 should equal to S dot split. I'm gonna split it with two dots, and then I'm gonna copy this one here. Yeah. So for R1 and C1, it's gonna be here similarly S1 and S10, and here I'm gonna use R2 and C2 because this is gonna be an area. Yeah. And now I'm gonna check the area. So for let me use I in range R1 to R2 plus 1, and for J in range C1 to C2 plus 1. So I want to put it inside the queue. Yeah, because it may be another string. So I want to put this I and J inside the queue. Finally, I want to return the result. Yeah. But currently the result is going to be 0 because I didn't put anything inside the result yet. Yeah. Now let's just think about from where we can put the values inside this result. Yeah. So from here we can check it because basically we pop it out from here, this R and C. We need to check if this is a value or not because we pop it out. This is just a position, so we need to check this value. So if self dot sum state with R minus 1 and odd C minus 65. So if this is a value, if this is a 0, yeah, because currently from here, if we directly check it, it is okay. But for the first position, if it is not okay, but for others, maybe it is okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if you understand about here. So if we can get a value directly, we can get it directly from here. We're gonna return the value. But otherwise, if it is a string, we're gonna just use the BFS to check. But while we are using the BFS, maybe at some other places, this sum state is gonna be a 0. It happens like that. Yeah, because this is what we are preparing for the sum state. So if it is 0, so our self dot are gonna use the result should plus equal to self dot g, and with the value, we just need to copy the value from here. Yeah. Otherwise, we're gonna use this for loop to check everything. yeah, we're gonna just put it inside the queue and we're gonna check it again. Yeah, it is a little bit complicated about here. Yeah, you know, here for this BFS, it's like more than 20 lines of code, and this is going to be a little bit difficult. But except that, others should be easy. But it's difficult to think about this kind of a sum state. I also learned it from some others, and some very clever guys. I don't know why he can think about this kind of clever way to solve yeah, this hard problem. Yeah, definitely. This is a very clever way of thinking about it. We're going to prepare a sum state, and we're going to use this sum state to solve the problem. I've already written a lot of code. I'm not confident if everything's right, so I have to check. Yeah. Let me just check once again, and then I'm going to run it. So from here, I'm going to prepare a copy and prepare a real Excel and the sum state. And here I just set the values, and I store the state. And for this sum, I just store the sum state to this numbers array, and I just call the get function. So for this get function row and column, if it is directly 0, I'm going to return it. Otherwise, I'm going to use a result initialized to be 0 and check the final result. Yeah, and I'm going to put the row and column inside the queue. I'm going to check the queue, pop it out. I'm going to check if it is a value. I'm going to directly plus it. Otherwise, I'm going to use a for loop to check this array. So inside of the array, it's going to be two types of string. If it is less than or equal to 3, basically it is just a value. So I'm going to put it inside the queue. There's only one value, R1, C1. Otherwise, it's going to be an area. So I'm going to split it and find the area and put the area inside the queue. Finally, I'm going to return the result. I think it seems okay. Now let me just run it. Something wrong. Expected string of less 1, but int found. Yeah, maybe I did something wrong. I think I did something wrong inside the sum state. Yeah, so this is for the odd. Yeah, so this is my row and column. I think I put the row and column inside. It should be okay. So I have to check what is this say. Why I cannot use this odd say. It is C0. Yeah, I even put a C0. Why I put a 0 inside? This is a strings. R-1 odd C minus 65. Yeah, let me check. I put if this is okay. So this is a column and this is a row. Yeah, let me just check the queue. What is the queue after all? Yeah, I cannot check that from here because it stopped. Maybe I'm gonna check it from here. Yeah, I did put some string things inside of the queue up to here. As you can see, this is okay. Yeah, so it is a number. Another one gonna be a string. Yeah, but after that I put always to be the numbers inside the queue. So this means my queue is wrong. Let me check where did I put it wrong. Yeah, so from here I put a number inside. I should be consistent. Yeah, and for here I also put a number inside. Yeah, so it means in this position I need to put the numbers inside the queue, and instead of this row and column, so I needed to change it to row -1 and this one gonna be the odd column minus 65. Now I think inside of the queue it's gonna be just the numbers, because I would do tur this kind of string 3c to be the numbers. Yeah, so actually it's gonna be 2 and 2. Now let me run it. Expected string of less 1, but int found. Expected of less 1, but integer found. Yeah, let me check. Some state r minus 1. Yeah, because here I cannot use this one. I have to be consistent. Yeah, because here we popped out just with two numbers. We just use the number. We're gonna not turn it again and again, otherwise it's gonna be really complicated. So for here, I'm gonna use this R and C. Yeah, I'm gonna use the R and C directly because I've already turned it to the numbers. Let me check this area. Yeah, it means I need to turn all those ones to be the numbers, otherwise. So here I turned it to numbers. Definitely I make the system too complicated. Yeah, normally I should be consistent with all this. So this means from here I need to change it to R and C because I've already turned to the numbers. Let me check if this is okay. Yeah, so this is R and C, and this one we have to turn that because this is a string. Now I think it, let's just try. I think I changed everything. Yeah, but I got 0 and 2. It means basically the system I turned it to numbers, but I get the wrong answer. Let me try to check. So from here, this is a Q. I pop it out, and this is equal to 0. I'm gonna plus this value. So this is my Q. I turned it to the numbers 0 minus 1, and similarly for the column minus 65. So I put it inside and pop it out, and I check it if it is 0, and I plus it to the result. Otherwise, we're gonna check the strings one by one if it is less. Yeah, I think I prepared, basically I prepared everything inside. I don't know even what is wrong about it. I got a result of 2 and 0 and 2, but it's gonna be 4 and 6. Yeah, let me just check my previous submissions. Maybe I can remember, or it can remind me something, or maybe I did something wrong. Otherwise, I think I'm gonna never solve it online. Yeah, I think my logic. So from here, I think it is okay. So if this is if tag, and then it's gonna be the else. Basically, I don't need to write this else, but it is okay. And for the Q, I put this one inside, and I'm gonna check the Q. I pop it out. I'm gonna check the sum state. If it is equal to 0, I'm gonna plus it. Otherwise, I'm gonna check the string. If it is less than or equal to 3, I'm gonna check the value. I'm gonna append it. Otherwise, I'm gonna just use S1 and S2, split it, and I'm gonna get Z1 and Z2 here, R1 and C1 and int. This is also okay. Yeah, normally I think it is everything. I write it exactly like that, but I don't know why. Sometimes, yeah, if there's a typo or something, definitely it's gonna be make mistakes. Let me check everything about here. This is my numbers, and this is get row and column. It seems everything is exactly the same. So I prepared for here some state and deep copy this one, and row -1, column -65, and I set it to be 0. Yeah, I think it is exactly the same. Only difference is about the else area, but it's also the same. Yeah, I just don't know why I did it wrong. As you can see, it is exactly the same. The state row -1, I set it to be, and return, and result, and Q. Yeah, let me just check one character by one character. Maybe I can find at which place I did it wrong. It's exactly the same. So for else inside the self.state, if this is less than or equal, and this int odd S0 -65 and Q.append. Yeah, I think this problem is a lot of operations we have to turn like this odd or something. That is why it's really easy to make mistakes, and I even cannot find what kind of a mistake I made. Or maybe here I used the R1 and the C1, I put it inside. Here I think this is also okay, R1 and C1, I put as 1. Yeah, this is why. I think I forgot to -1. This is why. Yeah, it happens because the system, the Excel system, it is not from index 0. Definitely I got this number and the placing should -1. You know, sometimes we have to be careful. If we forget about it, definitely it's gonna be wrong. I forgot about to -1 here. Yeah, as you can see. At other places I always -1, and while I'm calculating about here, I forget about it. Yeah, let me just run it to check. As you can see, now it works, and now let me submit it. Yeah, as you can see, it works, and it is pretty fast. It is quite long, and but it's also difficult to understand, and the coding is also difficult to write. I mean, a lot of conversions we need to turn. If we forget about something, definitely it's going to be wrong. And for the time complexity, let's just analyze from here. So basically, we have 100 cows, so it's going to be 100. And inside of the nums array, it's going to be 5. Yeah, and now we're going to go to the BFS. So inside of the BFS, so for example, this area, it's going to be store a value here. Maybe this is a 1 dot, it's going to be store another area. So it's going to be 26 to the power of 4. Yeah, basically we're going to check each one of them, and then for each area, for the maximum, and maybe the maximum area. Yeah, but even it is like that, but in the real testing cases, maybe it is smaller than that. 26 to the power of 4, we can think about it like 3 to the power of 4 times 10 to the power of 4. Yeah, so 3 to the power of 4 or 2 to the power of 4, basically it means 3 times 10 to the power of 5, and times this one times 5, it's gonna be 1 times 10 to the power of 8. Yeah, but actually, because there's no dead loop, and this area is gonna be smaller and smaller for each of the calculation. Maybe it is even smaller than that. Maybe it is like 10 to the power of 7. it is not 10 to the power of 8, but definitely we need to check all the areas. So for example, this one inside is going to be here, and this one may be another areas. Yeah. Or maybe we can, if this is not right, it is 26 to the power of 4, but I don't think that it should be 26 to the power of 4, because for each of the dot, it's going to be a very big area. It's going to be 26 square, and for another dot here, it's going to be another 26 square. It means even we have one dot here, but inside there's going to be another dot, and this dot, it may be smaller because it cannot include these areas, but definitely there will be an area. And for the next one, it may be smaller, but definitely it's going to be included these areas. Yeah, we're going to use the 26 to the power of 4 times 100 times 5 as the final time complexity. Thank you for watching. See you next time.